with my boy Shane. We're here on. How does it feel, man? Back again. First NFL Sunday. Working with Relevant.
Yeah.
All this stuff. How does it feel to be back?
Exciting, you know. I was telling you last night, but I'll say it for the Twitch audience. Um, I was like, I was kind of I don't want to say mad, but I was like, yeah, this was the first weekend of my church choir coming back after a year and a half from the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was really excited for that. But then I was like, of course, it's got to be on opening Sunday of the Um, but uh, but yeah, no, I was still able to catch highlights uh, and watch the 1 o'clock games and all that. So
Yeah, I mean, we still have. You're good to go. We still have a lot to get through.
yeah,
Throughout all of this. Okay, so let's begin. We have a lot to get to. Brandon will be joining us in about a half hour to give his thoughts. I know he's excited about the Seahawks one. We'll get to that. Let's start with the game we just watched. There are games every year that I get excited to watch, right? I'm like, all right, this is good, this is good, this is good. I'm excited. Let's do this thing. And then and then you watch one quarter and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to hang out on my phone.
this is kind of dumb.
Yeah, like this is dumb. I'm going to just chill on my phone, wait for this game to end. The game ended quickly enough where I can eat some fish and chips before we started. And I'm just
Chips.
yeah.
Good choice.
And I was like, man, like this game, ugh. Truth be told, LA, Matthew Stafford, we got what we needed to see. I think we know this offense is going to be prolific and ridiculous. But defensively, I still...
Than they were.
Oh, much better than they were. Defensively, though, we didn't learn anything defensively with the Bears' defense tonight, did we? We didn't learn anything of any value, did we?
No, I mean, I was kind of surprised actually. I thought it was going to be a much more low-scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
20-14, something like that. Which the Bears did end up getting 14, so I guess that's nice. But I mean, I'm just not. I'm not really sure what to make of either of these defenses because I think the Rams were obviously probably a top 3 defense last season, and they didn't return a lot of their really good starters. I mean, they brought back, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, who are
Already have long-term deals, who cares? They already have long-term deals, who cares?
yeah, but there's tons of guys like John Johnson, for instance, that they didn't bring back. There's like 5 or 6 of them all throughout the defense that were key pieces for him that are gone now. They still got their 2 guys, but how's the supporting cast gonna be? That worries me. But I mean, they seemed good tonight, but it's Andy Dalton.
And that's okay. So first off, the only thing we really learned is that their rush defense is pretty garbage. Like David Montgomery was basically their entire offense, sans a couple of plays, and then other than that, it's Andy Dalton. I find it abysmal that he's starting. Fields might not be 100% ready, but if Trevor Lawrence is going to struggle, which he did today at points, if Mac Jones is going to struggle, which he did today at points, if you're going to have that, if you're going to have those guys play and struggle, I think both of them were solid for their first starts, and Mac I was more impressed with for different reasons, but if that's going to be the case, then why are we wasting time here? Just let him play.
That's the thing. I mean, you got nothing to lose at this point.
Right.
You're you're on a bit of a clock because you want to get success out of him while he's on his rookie deal. So therefore, that to me is like all the more reason to just say, okay, screw it, let's try it. You know what I mean?
And
But
we talked about this in the preseason too. We said like, hey, he's probably we saw that first preseason game he had against Miami, and we're like, yeah, he doesn't look that comfortable. I don't think he'll look very comfortable when he actually gets full snaps his first week. But who did today? Like, did Trevor Lawrence look comfortable? Did Mac Jones
and I
look
mean,
comfortable at times? No. Again, I felt better about Mac. We'll get to that. But still, like, they're not going to be comfortable. That's not the point. The point is to get them snaps. This is not like, the idea that this is like Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes is stupid. Because Alex Smith is a proven starter. It's fine that Mahomes sat 1 year. This is Andy Dalton, a guy who's a really nice Andy Dalton is a nice veteran backup at this stage of his career. Nothing else.
yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, it's, no quarterback is ever really that great in their first start. I mean, it's
Their
even
first
some of the
season.
like, yeah, honestly. The only, the only thing I can think of in recent memory is Justin Herbert when he came in and against the Chiefs.
Right.
He came in for Tyrod, and he looked pretty comfortable. He had a decent game. I mean, he lost, but still, it's like, okay, 5 minutes before game time, you're gonna go in there against the defending Super Bowl champions. Have fun. It's like, I'd be crapping my pants. But he was just like, okay, and he
Shoot.
went out there and he had a pretty good game, really. I mean, he threw 2 or 3 touchdowns, and so, but normally that's not the case.
It's not even that. Like, even in his, like, my whole point is, like, it's not abnormal for rookies to struggle. And that's fine. Like, it's not abnormal for Peyton Manning his first year threw what, 20 picks? Like 28 picks. Jesus.
Oh, it was bad.
It was bad, but who cared?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. This era is different. Like, we watched Tua today, and we're like, whatever. Like, with Tua last year, we have the problem, too, is, like, as fans, as media, we have a bigger judge of rookie quarterbacks. Like, we want, like, in this era, you should come right in and be pretty solid, because it's very much like the college game now. But even with that, like, again, you're going to have uncomfortable moments. You're going to struggle. Like, who really cares? Like, even Brian Flores, he was like, yeah, I trust Tua. Like, who cares about last year? Like, I trust him. It was his first year. Like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
I mean, that's, and that's the thing. It's like, there are all sorts of, like you said, we expect them to kind of come in and just be great all of a sudden. But like, how are you going to do that consistently when the playbooks are more complicated, defenses are faster, stronger, bigger? It's nothing like the college game in terms of the physicality of it, I guess. In terms of, I do agree with you though that it is more like the college game in terms of
Yeah.
some of the types of plays they run and just kind of the I guess the tempo of the game, as opposed to, and I feel like this is kind of a tangent, but I feel like the college, because it used to be, at least for me, like, college, you just pass a bunch and you run around and it's just chaos. But then the NFL, it was like a lot of power run, simple play. But now I feel like it's vice versa. Like, in college, I feel like all I ever see is running up the middle. And then in the pros now, it's like this pass heavy game, and starting running backs are getting like 10 carries a game. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Part of that's probably due to the extended season, not wanting to hurt running backs, which I get.
It's also just that it's a passing league, and
Yeah.
that's like part of this whole thing. Like even with Tennessee today, like Tannehill, yeah, like we can go to Tennessee. It's a perfect transition. Like Tennessee today, like that was a mess. Like that was a colossal mess in every which way. I mean, yeah, I mean defensively, Chandler Jones just went off. I don't know if we can say anything about the Cardinals' defense with that game right now. It's one game.
Yeah.
Like if the Cardinals play like that all year, it's a different ball game. Like it is, but are they really going to? Let's wait on that a few weeks. Let's wait on that a few weeks. I'm not gonna I want to overreact to it, but I'm not going to because it's not worth it.
Same.
Like
Same.
Tennessee, yeah, they're trying to get the ball to Julio. Apparently, that chemistry just isn't there. I mean, they haven't really done anything in the preseason. It's not there. I think same with AJ Brown. It's not there. So, and Henry didn't even. I don't think Henry got that many carries. At least he didn't have that very good of a day. I think all of that stands to reason as to that passing game thing. That I think, again, as I talked about in our preview on ProSportsFanax.com, and I talked about that in our preview with Tennessee about they need to pass the ball more. This needs to be Tannehill's team in some ways. Like he needs to have the confidence to throw the ball down the field if they have any aspirations of going far in the playoffs. And I think they tried to do that today. It seems like it's just going to be a slow process.
Yeah, I think it's either like it's going to be a slow build, like you said, or it's just I think part of it too, at least for right now, is just that they don't really know what their identity is. I think, because they've been the last 2 years they've been just a very, at least offensively, a very much just a power running team, which is fine. But, when you got guys like A.J. Brown, who is a phenomenal young receiver, and Julio Jones, who is, when healthy, probably still a top 5 receiver in the game. When you got them, I almost feel like you have to become more of a passing team, and they just haven't been. So I feel like it's going to be kind of a awkward, puberty for the Titans.
So Derrick Henry ran the ball 17 times for 58 yards with an average of 3.4. So he didn't have like 30 carries. Like they don't need to give him 30 carries. But if they don't need to give him 30 carries, then Tannehill needs to get the ball out to guys like Julio, and they need to have chemistry, which they don't have right now.
Something I noticed a lot today was a lot more running back committees.
That's a real thing. Yeah.
Like with Green Bay, New Orleans,
Arizona, which they've already basically been a committee anyway. Let's see. There's a bunch of other teams. Jacksonville, which was a surprise.
Even like going back to Thursday, like Dallas, they ran Pollard a lot.
It's keeping guys less injured, as you talked about, but it's also just the fact that I honestly feel like they're better running backs in the league, especially this year with them moving and shaking at the position. They're better backs in the league probably now more than ever, and it makes drafting them less of a priority. Like Najee Harris didn't have a huge day. A lot of that has to do with how that game went. Sometimes, and this is something interesting that I'm realizing in playing fantasy too, and I imagine you're realizing this too, is a lot of the times the points don't come just because of how the game flows. Like with that Steelers game, I was like, the game is flowing where Big Ben's going to throw the ball a lot. So Najee's not going to get that many points. It's just the reality of it, right? But sometimes it is, like we're going to have some games where it's going to be a power running game for maybe a team like Tennessee, but we'll see. Like my whole point is that like there's just better running backs in the league, which makes drafting them early not matter. You can draft guys late with the same success because the basic model of running the ball is, do you have a good O-line? If you do, almost any running back who's shifty enough and elusive enough can be successful.
Yeah. Which Tennessee's O line is. I mean, it's not amazing, but
It
it's
got
alright.
beat up. It's better than what it showed today. Like, obviously, it's not that great, but Taylor Lewan's a good flipping tackle, and he literally apologized on Twitter. Like, that's how bad today was against Chandler Jones with 5
And that's
sacks.
not like him.
No,
'Cause
it's
he's
not.
kind of a. He's a little. I don't want to say self-absorbed, but. Um, he thinks very. I think he seems like a guy that thinks very highly of himself and his team.
Right.
He wouldn't easily come out and say something like that.
No, but it's like, but that's the point. Like, and that's also what's weird about Tennessee and what you said about, oh yeah, they don't really have an identity because Tennessee's O line is a bruiser O line. It's a bruiser O line. It's a power run O line. And my whole thing is they need that balance, like we saw today with like Seattle, where there's a balance to it. And if you have that balance, you can go far. And Tennessee needs to learn how to do that by probably the end of September. If they don't, it's even going to be hard for them to win the division.
Yeah. Which is sad when that's already a very bad division. Funny enough,
Houston won a game.
even though it's only week 1, Houston is winning the AFC South. That is not something I thought I would say this year.
So, Houston, right?
Yeah.
You know what's funny about Houston today? I actually enjoyed watching them.
Really?
There's something about Houston, and it's this idea that, yeah, we have the whole Deshaun Watson thing over our heads. We have that terrible era of Bill O'Brien. But it's not like this team is a bunch of really, really young players with no experience. This is Tyrod Taylor. This is Brandon Cooks, who had a phenomenal day today. There's I think even David Johnson or Duke Johnson, I'm forgetting which one. Like, I guess my overall point with
David.
yeah I know they had Duke before, but either way, my whole point is like what I realized about Houston today is they won that game today just because they're more experienced. They have experience all over that roster. That team is bad, but they're experienced enough to not go 1-15. Obviously, it's one game, but I don't imagine they're going to lose the rest of their games the rest of the way. What we saw today, like, are we looking at that and saying they're a playoff team? No. Are we looking at that and saying they're going to be that successful? No. But we're looking at it and saying, hey, this is a veteran
5
group.
wins.
Yeah. Well, no, I still think 3 is an average. I still think 3 or 4 is an average.
Yeah.
But David Cawley, right? Like, Cawley is a really old coach. I think he's like 60 or 70 years old. Like, he built this team kind of the way he wanted, in that he realized, like, oh yeah, this is not going to be that good, but let's get veteran pieces that know how to play football. Like, Tyrod's a guy that knows how to play football. He's experienced enough where he knows how to play the game. And the Jags,
Leader.
right? And the Jags, let's be honest, the Jags are, they are, I can't believe I'm saying this. They basically are an NFL version of a college team right now. Like, that's literally what they are with Urban Meyer. And, like, Urban didn't really touch James Robinson today for some reason. I don't think he got hurt. We talked about it. I don't think he got hurt. He didn't get that many carries today. Trevor Lawrence feels like he's kind of being hung out to dry. Like, he had moments in this game, but there's part of me that feels like he's trying to learn everything on his own, which is not what he needs at this time. In Urban, I don't know how I wrote this on our piece. I wrote the Jaguars on our piece that we did, and I said Urban Meyer's going to get questioned by the media for everything he does. Because I don't think Urban knows how to coach NFL football yet. And him taking a year to learn it under a quarterback that needs to learn it as well and learn it fast. This is a guy that literally Scott Hansen on Red Zone today said this is like watching the next Peyton Manning. Or he didn't actually say that, but like the hype around it was like next Peyton Manning level. If that's the case, you can't have a head coach that's learning on the job with a guy who's touted to be potentially a Hall of Famer if everything goes the right way, learning this at the same time. You're just hanging him out to dry.
That's the thing. Yeah, you're so right. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating because okay, remember when I did the when was it? After the draft, I did the ranking of the 5 first-round quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
and
You put Lawrence
I had
fourth, I think. Third or fourth?
second.
Second. Okay.
I said Fields, Lawrence, Lance, Jones, and then Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I seriously considered putting Mac 3 and Trevor at 4.
Today it was Mac 3 and Trevor 4. Mac had a better day.
And then bumping Trey up to 2.
Trey Lance. So wait. List out the quarterbacks again really quick.
The way I ranked them
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had Fields 1,
Yeah.
Trevor 2, Trey 3, Mac Jones 4, and Zach Wilson 5.
Wait, who was number 3 again?
Trey.
Oh, yeah, Lance. So here's my ranking of who had the best day out of these quarterbacks. Zach Wilson had the worst day. He just threw really bad balls. This is the Jets. Give him some clock, right? Give him some time. To me, out of all these guys, and Lance and Fields don't really count. They obviously had their great moments that hype people up, social media. Well, Mac Jones had the best day. Trevor Lawrence second. Zach Wilson third.
Yeah.
And now continue with what you were saying. I just wanted to say really quick my thoughts on those 3.
Yeah. So that was the order I put them in after draft night. But I'm going to be honest with you. I was seriously considering making the order Fields, Lance, Jones, Lawrence, Wilson. Because, and in hindsight, I should have. Because
I mean, it's 1 week. It's 1 week, okay? Like, we're doing this under the impression that we just watched 1 week of football minus Monday night.
no, I'm not just talking about week 1. I'm talking about everything leading to this.
Even the
I've been
preseason.
sitting there- Yes, I've been sitting there thinking about it, and it's like, because it's nothing against them as players, but you have to consider their situations. Mac Jones goes to the greatest coach in NFL history. Okay, that's all right. He's kind of set up for success there.
Pause really quick. Pause. It's not just that. They were talking about this on the broadcast, and I went, oh my God. Mac Jones went from the greatest college coach in history to the greatest head coach in NFL history, and those two have a very good relationship.
Right. Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, and I know he's the least athletic of all the guys, but you know the guy that was really successful in New England at quarterback for like 20 years?
The guy who won on Thursday night.
I think his name's Tom Brady. Most people would call him the greatest of all time. Is he an athletic guy?
No, he's not an athlete.
No.
He's not a
Not
pure
really.
athlete.
Right. I mean, he's great at the game, obviously, but is he fast, agile? No. So, even though the game is evolving to a place where mobile quarterbacks are better nowadays, there are some teams like the Patriots where it's not really a necessity, and because they just have a good system that a guy like Mac Jones can thrive in. And then I was looking at Trevor Lawrence, who is the better athlete than Mac. But I was thinking about this during the offseason. It's like he's going to a team that was already bad and has not good ownership, and they have a rookie head coach who has never coached in the NFL. It's not like it was Robert Saleh, where he was already an NFL coach, just not a head coach.
A
right?
good NFL coach. That's the difference. He's a great
Right.
defensive coordinator.
Oh, amazing. No, Urban Meyer was a college coach, and so
Who retired for a year and worked at Fox before
Yeah.
he came, or 2 years.
So I mean, how is Trevor going to be set up for success if he's in a bad team with a coach who is also figuring out what is going on? You know, I mean, it's and again, it's not a comment on which player is better. I mean, Trevor is clearly the more talented, in my opinion. But you have to consider that when you have to consider their situations when you're evaluating them, you know. But anyways,
This Urban Meyer thing is just gonna be ugly. Like I seriously feel like it's gonna be so ugly. Like Lawrence is gonna have to throw some tricks in the bag, and he couldn't do that today against a team that isn't very good.
I don't even think Urban Meyer's going to be there next year, honestly.
At this point, dude, I looked at that offseason. He hired that stupid strength coach. He got fined a bunch of money. I think he got fined, at least in my book, he got fined the most maybe ever in training camp. Because of just these stupid, like, oh yeah, you can't do like padding and don't injure your players. Like, duh, it's camp. We don't need to go crazy here. Like, we can go hard, but we don't have to go that hard where you get fined. Like, yeah, every year there's like 4 or 5 coaches that get fined in camp. Like, Kyle Shanahan got fined in camp. I think Sean Payton also got fined in camp. These guys get fined in camp, yes.
Sean Payton gets fined all the time.
but it's
Let's
like,
be honest.
but it's like, okay, man, but like, Urban can't be getting fined. Like, he can't. Like, I get it, dude. Like, and he even brought in guys that like know the NFL game, and it feels like he's not even listening to them. It's just a mess over there. And then I'll finish up talking. Let's talk about Mac though. I was looking at that game, not really for the purity of the game, because honestly, there were better games on TV. And let's be honest, the game was just kind of weird. Like, I didn't learn a lot. But I was looking at both of the
Not what I expected it to be.
Right. I was looking at both of the quarterbacks primarily. I was like, okay, in this game, I'm literally just going to focus on both of the quarterbacks. Tua's a starter. Tua's a starter in this league. I don't care what anyone says. That guy's a franchise quarterback. Like, yeah, last year was ugly. And, okay, fine. Jacoby Brissett played 5 snaps. He played 5 snaps. Like, we're going to panic over the fact he played 5 snaps. Like, if anyone's doing that tonight, I don't know what. Sure, Jacoby can play a few snaps here and there. That's fine. The guy's a vet. I don't care. But this is not going to be a Fitzpatrick situation. I hope it won't be. I don't think it will be at all. Like, Tua should be playing 99.5% of the snaps, and he basically did that today, and he looked great. Like, it was, again, game wasn't that impressive. It's not a great judge of what these two teams are, but he's a starter. And Mac, he just has command of this offense. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't need to be flashy. He doesn't need to be unbelievable. He just needs to have command of that offense to do well, and he did that today. Yeah, they lost by a point, bad fumble, but that's the point. He has enough command in this offense, and it seems like Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels trust him a lot. This is something they talked about. They emphasized on the broadcast. Like, they emphasized it on the broadcast. Props to that team at CBS. Because that was valuable information to me to understand, okay, he actually was telling his teammates in camp, like, before even Bill Belichick could, like, hey, this is wrong, we're going to do this again. He has these leadership qualities. He has command of that team. And most of all, he has respect of every player in that locker room. I don't know if any rookie's there yet. He's already there. He's going to have command of this offense. Not now. I think he's going to have command of this offense for the next decade. I really do. I think he'll grow and develop into a great quarterback because he's just committed to that process. I know that's weird to say about a rookie quarterback who played one game, but you got to understand this is Bill Belichick. If you're not 100% all in, you're out. That's it.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the most telling sign to me. Is just the fact that with everything that's been building over the past few months, I mean, he had a pretty, I mean, not a franchise quarterback, but a capable starter in Cam Newton, at least for now, who was there last year. He's an MVP, even if he's not that great anymore, obviously. So the obvious decision would be, yeah, let's start this guy for, this year or for an hour, however long it is, right? But they didn't.
They cut him.
They cut him. Not only did they leave him as the backup, but they got his ass out of there. Like, that is a sign to me. Not so much that Cam Newton is terrible, but that they really believe in Mac Jones. And when this is Bill Belichick, who is like, like I said, he's like Emperor Palpatine, always scheming and having this giant grand plan. When that's coming from him and he's saying that, I believe it. It's like,
yeah.
Okay. Like, I see where you're going here, Bill. And I don't, it's probably not entirely, it seems like Cam being cut was more about his behavior than it was his playing ability, which I kind of understand that. He kind of seems like he's difficult, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Mac Jones' girlfriend can help Cam Newton.
You know what's funny? There was a report on PFT about 3 weeks ago, that apparently Rob Ninkovich is a commentator, but he said that basically he helped Cam learn the playbook. Mac.
Yeah.
Like what? What? So
I don't know. It doesn't surprise me based off everything that's come out.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, for those of you listening, there was this report that came out that Mac Jones' girlfriend would quiz him in the backyard.
He would run plays. They would run plays together in the flipping backyard.
Yeah. I was like, man, that's dedication, man. Like, put a ring on it, Mac. I mean, that's
yeah.
But
and then just overall, Mac had a good day. Zach Wilson, that was not great. Like he threw a couple pretty bad balls. I don't really know. I mean, I didn't really care that much about that Carolina game. Like, I knew I wasn't going to learn a lot. Like, I was watching all the other games this morning, and I was like, this is a game I'm not going to learn a lot about either team, aren't I? Like, there's certain games you watch them, and you're like, I'm not going to learn a lot, aren't I? Yeah, I'm not learning a lot. Like, I'm just not. Like, it's fine. Like, he'll struggle. Like, I do feel like he'll struggle, because this Jets team, they lost Mekhi Becton today, too. Like, I really think there's a chance he has a really, unfortunately, bad rookie year. Like, there's a chance that he does. But I also don't think in 12 weeks' time we should sit here and say he's a bad quarterback because of it.
Right. Because it just goes back to the Trevor thing, of like, how good are you versus how good is your situation?
Right, but it's also like, this is Robert Saleh. Like, he's gonna draft him for a reason. And when you say to yourself, like, Robert Saleh is our head coach, I'm not going to say in 12 weeks, let's move on from that man, Zach Wilson. Like, I'm not going to say that. Like, I don't think it's fair to say that. And Zach's going to have some sweet games, too.
You got to give him a year or two, at least, just to really see,
Yeah. I mean,
Zach Wilson.
I think in 12 weeks, we'll see something, right? We'll see flashes. We'll see something. And we didn't see that today, and that's okay. That's how I feel. We didn't see it today, and that's okay. Um,
Well, and the thing about Salah too is, I mean, he's been. I think he played offense actually back when he played football, but he's been on the defensive side of coaching his whole career. So, this is he's learning too, right? I mean,
in a way,
not
but I have confidence in what he's learning compared to flipping Urban Meyer.
exactly. It's not like that though, because because he's been in the NFL for decades now. So.
All right, let's skip to the rookie quarterbacks to the biggest story of the day. The story that basically I put a picture that was online everywhere to promote this show today. I have to pull this up. You know what's one of my favorite words in the English language? I probably need to spell it because I need to make sure that I'm getting the definition right.
What is that word?
Microcosm. How do you spell that word, by the way?
I believe like micro MICROCASM?
I think so. This is bad. I write articles, but I can't really spell that well. Okay. I could when I read an article, I can actually spell it. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, microcosm. Here's the definition of a microcosm. A community place doesn't count here. A situation is what counts. A situation regarded as encapsulating in the miniature in the characteristic in the minute. Okay, yeah. A situation regarded as encapsulating in miniature form the characteristic qualities or features of something much larger. Does that make sense? So microcosm is like something, a small event that encapsulates something much larger.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, this game was the microcosm of the entire offseason for the Packers.
Yeah.
The entire thing. That game was that whole offseason in a nutshell.
Yeah, and it's showing.
Yeah.
Or it showed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's well, hopefully not showing. Hopefully things get better for him, but yeah, the first thing I noticed is that it was like after the Saints scored their first field goal, I looked at Aaron Rodgers and I could tell he was just done. He was like, I don't care. Which kind of makes me think that all of his rhetoric about, I still care about this team. I love this team. I just didn't agree with some of the things we did. I kind of call BS on that. I still think he wants out of there. And he
think?
I'm all in. When he says I'm all in now, it's like, I don't think so. I think he's just phoning it in, gonna ride out, get his money, and then try and go to Denver or where, I don't know what other teams, but
let me ask this question.
They had a great day too.
Let me ask this question.
Yeah.
Is this the worst performance of Aaron Rodgers' career? Was today the worst we've ever seen of Aaron Rodgers?
Worst I've seen him.
I think clearly it's his worst performance of all time.
Because it's like, I saw this stat, and I think this was on the broadcast, but it said that the passer rating, if a quarterback were to throw every single pass into the dirt, is like 38, and his passer rating was 32.
Oh my god. Just as a reference, 153.8 is a perfect passer rating. So throwing everything in the dirt is a 38. And he threw,
and he had a 32 today.
Oh my god.
Or 33.
Dude.
Still.
Oh my god. Some of the throws, that second interception I didn't really get to see very well. Because I was also checking out inactives and working on the app and all this stuff. So I I saw the replay of it. I was like, oh my God. It's like watching college. It's like watching some of these guys in college just completely flipping. He just completely overthrew everybody. Like he didn't even care. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like, what was that?
Yeah, he threw half as many interceptions today as he did all of last season. I'm just gonna say that.
I just can't get over that game. I don't understand it.
Well, okay. On the other hand, I think it's a great look for the Saints.
Oh my God!
Because-
Yes.
Because I think that it's like, no Breeze, no problem. Makes me sad to say that, but but it's true. Yeah, I mean Jameis Winston, he looked great. He's definitely. There were a couple times where there were some receivers in kind of tight coverage. He maybe could have thrown, might have been picked. And I thought to myself, if he were still in Tampa, like 2 years ago or whatever, he would have made that throw and maybe gotten picked. But today, he held on to it. He'd either throw it away or he'd go run. And I forgot the dude could even run.
He can run fine.
Yeah, he's got decent speed. Yeah, and I thought, for not having your number one option, it looks pretty good to me. And Taysom, I think, is, he obviously made it very clear that he wanted to get that starting quarterback job, which is understandable. But he still seems very happy to be doing his Swiss Army role.
He's not a starter. We saw it last year. He's not a starter. He's just not.
Yeah. But he was still going in at running back, tight end, receiver, whatever, making plays, and he was smiling, running around. So I think he's. I think he, even if he wants to be quarterback, I think he's okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be too if I was making that much money, but
Most of it's voided money. Most of it's voided. Relax. Most of it's voided. It's like 150 million, but most of it's like at least 80, not even 85, 95 of the, not even, 120's voided money, maybe more.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Still, that's a lot of money.
I mean, look, like that was funny because when we were talking about him in the preseason, Winston, we're talking about the Jacksonville game, and I was like, yeah, those are some really bad throws. Like, I was not impressed with him in the preseason, but it's like, that's what preseason's for. Like, get your kinks out.
Right.
Like that's probably what happened. I'm like, sure. Yeah. Like, I mean, 5 touchdowns, what do you want me to say? From a guy that went 30-30 his last year in Tampa, like, we know the guy can throw touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we know the guy can have a 5-touchdown game. Like, we're not naive to that, but we expect a 5-touchdown game with 5 interceptions. He didn't do that today, and if this continues, yeah, he's not only the starter, but he's the franchise guy moving forward. And
did he throw any picks?
I don't think so. And if he did, who cares? It was probably in garbage time. If he did, who cares? Like, do we care if he did?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it was, 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, none.
Yeah, like, and it doesn't even matter if he did.
130.
There we go. I mean,
Great.
Like,
that's really good.
It's really impressive. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, he's the next Ryan Tannehill. But maybe even better.
Ooh.
Like, it's the Ryan Tannehill path, but it might even be better because this is flipping Sean Payton and the Saints with Alvin Kamara. Like, this is a better offense, theoretically, under Winston, just because of what Sean Payton is as a coach. But he could be that. And, like, I come out of today looking at the Saints and saying, like, yeah, if he does this for another month, like, if we hit, let's say, not even a month, let's say mid-October, and he keeps doing, like, he keeps playing like a starter, He's a franchise guy, and we're good. Pay him his money and keep him around for like 4 years. Like, I'm not opposed to that. I think Sean Payton actually likes working with him.
Yeah, seems like it. And that was, that's the thing. I mean, I think I just don't think Tampa was a good fit for Jameis because, especially towards the end there when he had Bruce Arians, Bruce is a very, he's kind of loose and just like, Jameis does his 33 interceptions and it's just kind of like, yeah. But Sean Payton, he runs a very tight ship and he's much more calculated. And I think that that's kind of what he needed because now he doesn't feel like he can just let it rip and cross his fingers and hope for the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as a result, I think you're starting to see good things coming out of that.
Brandon talked about this in our show chat. I'll ask you this question. Browns Chiefs, were the Browns the better team today?
Oh boy, for 3 quarters, yeah.
I'm saying even the whole game. Were they the better team to you?
I don't know. I mean, I could go either way with that. They definitely felt like they were more in command for majority of the game. It was just see, this is what frustrates me about the Chiefs. It's like in almost every game they play against a pretty decent team, not even a decent team, but even a team like like the Chargers last year or the Panthers. It's almost as if they're gonna lose, but then they just barely squeak out a win in the fourth quarter, and they look like crap for 3 quarters, for 3.5 quarters, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, like Jesus comes down and blesses them or something, and then all of a sudden they go crazy.
The legend of Mahomes.
I mean, yeah, and it's, I mean, I don't know. Then they just like all of a sudden win the game, and it's like I don't feel like you were the better team, but you won, and this is what you always do. So it's like I don't know. It's weird. It annoys me.
No, it annoys me too. That's why I asked the question because it annoys me too. So in 2020 Super Bowl, it was the offensive line that killed them. Right? It was the O-line. It wasn't the defense. It was the offensive line.
And the receivers.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. That's the problem that they fixed in the offseason, right? Yeah. They fixed the O-line. And the O-line is great. We saw it in preseason. They're great. If they're going to make the Super Bowl this year, you know how they're going to lose that game? Bad defense, bad linebackers.
Yeah.
Like, I can see it in my mind that come whatever it is, it's later, it's like February 20th, that Monday after the Super Bowl we do this show. I can see it now saying like, because today, you know who was their best defensive player? Neiman, a linebacker. Like the guy, I know the guy, he's a good player, but he's an average linebacker. He's a good he's like an average NFL linebacker. And he was their most impactful player. Now, I know they didn't have Frank Clark. I know they didn't have Matthew. That's important. But even then, they're only a top 15 defense. Like, I seriously feel like we could be going into the Monday after the Super Bowl saying that. But they don't have their full allotment. Does it matter to you if they do?
Not really, honestly. I think I would, of all defenses in the NFL, I'd rank them probably 20th.
I feel like they can finish 20th.
Yeah.
Like,
because they just, I mean, that's the thing. Like, they don't. It's like the Rams' problem, where they have 2 good players and that's it. Yeah. And then the rest are kind of like, they're average, but, I mean, what are you gonna do with him? Obviously, I mean they showed up in the end, um, shut down Cleveland in the fourth quarter there, but I feel like Kansas City trying to win, they always win by catching up. And I feel like it's just their luck is gonna run out at some point.
It already ran out last year.
Well, yeah.
It's gonna run. It's gonna run out again. It feels
Yeah.
like it's gonna run out again.
Cleveland should have won the game, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they had it, like, but um, but what are you gonna do?
Do you think I'm right? Is there how likely do you think this is that we go into the Monday after the Super Bowl, do this exact show and say the Chiefs lost because of their defense on that Monday after the Super Bowl? How likely do you think that is?
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna lose, that'd probably be how. And that's assuming they make the Super Bowl. But
Right. The AFC's better.
um, yeah, I mean, I could very much see Buffalo, even though they didn't have a great day. Buffalo,
No, they didn't.
Cleveland, even though they lost to Kansas City. Um, Maybe Baltimore, depending on.
Let's wait till tomorrow. Let's wait. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I could see any of them making the Super Bowl for the AFC. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I think Cleveland though. Yeah, that defense still needs some development. Like I can't really make an opinion on their defense, but Stefanski's got them. Like this. Yeah. The Rodney Harrison thing was just stupid. Like that was dumb. But and it shows that kind of flashiness is still in them a bit. But Stefanski's got a grasp here. Like
Yeah.
Baker's their guy. Like this was a prove it game for them. This was, can you show us that you're a contender? And after tonight, like yeah, they're a contender, and I'm not gonna doubt that right now.
Yeah. When they and I mean even like in the secondary, they made some great plays against guys like Tyreek Hill, who I mean that's not easy. But I think it's tough to determine how good a defense is against Kansas City because I mean you got Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill, and I mean the three of those guys are like a cheat code. I mean it's just like because Mahomes is running around whatever, just being a maniac, and seems like he can just do whatever, like he's Houdini or something. And then you got Tyreek Hill, who might as well be Usain Bolt. No one can catch him, even when he's in triple coverage. He just and everyone's like. And then Kelsey, it's like the situation where he's too fast for linebackers, but too big for DBs.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So you feel like Cleveland's a contender right now after today?
Yeah, even though they weren't able to pull it out, it was still a close game. And I mean, who knows? Later on in the season, if they met again in the playoffs, things could be different because there's 4 months between now and then, so a lot can change.
Yeah. With Kansas City, we got into a little bit of a debate in our chat, and I did want to bring this up because it's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
You're a QB coach, though. I forgot that when we were talking about this, but I want to bring it up. So, Mahomes, right? We were talking about the whole Houdini stuff that he does. Let's just focus on his off-balance deep ball throws. Let's just pinpoint that. I think that play, when he's in that situation, let's just say that. Let's just focus on that only. When he's in that situation, he's the only quarterback, or no, he's the greatest to ever do that play.
Probably, yeah.
Because
At least that I've seen.
but see, here's the point, and you brought this up, and it's like, yeah, the announcers and everyone freaks out when Mahomes does a play like that, but then Aaron does it, Russell Wilson does it, so many guys do that play,
Tyler, whatever.
right? And it doesn't matter as much as Mahomes. And my thought is, there's something. I'll try to explain this the best that I can because I think talking about it one-on-one with you is important. There's something about the way that he contorts his body and just throws the ball. It's the most abnormal thing I've ever seen. Perfect example of this, even though it's a different play. The Super Bowl, remember how he was getting tackled and he was like almost to the ground and he slings it like 40 freaking yards when he's right about to hit the ground.
Something like that.
He has...
And he hit the guy right in the face.
Yeah. Like...
That was the greatest throw ever that was incomplete.
By far.
Probably.
No, by far. I don't think there's a question.
Not to mention, he was running around for at least 10 seconds. Around in the pocket.
Right.
Breaking sacks, whatever.
That whole Super Bowl, he was running to save his life. That was the entire game. Yeah, with turf toe.
I don't know what kind of drugs he was on, but like, God, he must have had some very serious painkillers injected in his foot.
Let's not undersell this. Turf toe sucks.
Oh yeah. Whew.
Turf toe's terrible. I've never had it, but Brandon, our fellow co-host, has had it, and he says it's horrible. But like, again, back to the point. The way he contorts his body is so abnormal and so unnatural that it doesn't look like anything I've ever seen. It's when I watch Russell do that, I'm in awe, but I'm not finishing the word. It's like I'm in awe with Russell Wilson. I'm in awe with Stafford when they do it. But I'm like, when Mahomes does it, I'm like, awesome. Like, this is amazing. You know? Like, do you
mean? Yeah.
It's just different.
Like, it's the fact that the fact that he looks like, Mr. Fantastic or something, stretching out his body all weird.
Yeah, it's the fact that the way he does it mechanically is so remarkably unnatural.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's unteachable. Because that's just not a... I mean, throwing a ball... you gotta understand, throwing especially a football is already a very unnatural motion. Not only with your arm, but with your fingers, everything. Everything about it is just weird. And so, especially when there's, a 250-pound man sprinting directly behind you, trying to kill you, and and you've got all that fear and adrenaline in your head, knowing you got this painful toe down there, and then your body is moving down, you're losing track of your target, you throw 40 yards with just your arm, no leg proportion or anything, and just as much arm strength as you can, still fires at like 60 miles an hour, and it hits the guy right in the face. What?
No, right. I just use that as an example. But go ahead, continue.
I was so pissed when that pass was dropped. I was like, if that was a completed pass, and it should have been, guy put his hands right on the thing. That would have, it probably would have been like the best play of the decade, honestly.
But that I just use that as an example of how he contorts his body. But let's focus on like throws he made today, where he's kind of like falling back and throwing it. Do you feel like it's mechanically different, or am I wrong about it? What's your feeling on it? Because am I wrong about this point? Like, is my question. Because it felt like you felt I was wrong about it.
No, it's not that you're. No, because that's the thing that we. For context for the listeners, he Mahomes at some point made a kind of a crazy play, and
He made he was like back, like 20 yards from the line of scrimmage, and he threw it, and like, I think he probably completely fell down, but I didn't see. But he like completely threw it like 40
I don't
yards.
remember what it was exactly.
If I'm not mistaken.
But yeah, it was something weird, or not weird, but anyways. And I remember because I was listening to the broadcast and Tony Romo, because he always overreacts and freaks out.
I love Tony.
He's like saying, "See, look at that play right there. That just shows why Mahomes is the greatest quarterback in the NFL." Whatever. And so then I was sitting there and I was like, get on my phone, and I texted Robert and Brendan, and I was like, if any other quarterback made that kind of play, I bet you nobody would care. Meanwhile, when Mahomes does it, it's all you hear about on ESPN for the next week, And so, like, and then
I come in and I try to explain exactly this. I was like, let me explain it.
So then Robert comes in and he's like, and he says something about like, well, no, look at his mechanics and everything. And I was like, no, Robert, that's insane. I'm talking about this whole media perception of this guy. But Robert's just over here going, but look at his feet, Shane.
but see, this is the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is I'm trying to connect your point. I'm trying to say,
yeah,
this is why. Like, I'm trying to.
You're saying there's a reason he's like that.
There's a reason. Like, the media hoopla there are a bunch of media hooplas, not only in sports, but in politics and all this stuff that you just like, or the news, and it's like, what, why? But like, when you say that point of like, oh, these other guys doing it, I'm just like, no, there's a reason for it. Like, it's not the same. At least to me, it's just, I hope that what I said over the last 5-10 minutes, or however long this segment was, makes sense as to why it is. Like, it's not a media hoopla for no reason. At least I don't believe.
Because I've been thinking about the last few hours, and it's like, well, sure, it's cool if another guy does that, obviously. But that's the thing, it happens like once in a while with him. For him, it seems like it's happening a few times a game.
It happens every game. Legit. I'm just expecting it every Sunday.
And so, as a result, I think a lot of us look at him and we're just like, okay, yeah. He just did that again, whatever. Which is then why it's kind of like, when they're saying, oh, he's amazing, look at this. It's like, yeah, we know he is. Like, shut up.
Right.
But
to finish this off, what is your perspective on all of this conversation as a quarterback coach? Like, his mechanics, how he plays, like, as a QB coach, how does that part of your brain and your eyes view Mahomes as a player? And in those crazy moments?
Like, he's just on... Because the thing is, I mean, yeah, his mechanics are obviously really solid, but what makes him so unique, I guess, is that some of these things he does, like the play when he was, like the Super Bowl play, when he was falling down, throwing whatever, that's not something that makes sense. Like,
It did not.
I don't mean that to sound funny.
It doesn't.
That's science. It's just there's no way to teach that. Kind of like I said a second ago, and that's. And I think that there are guys that, have those moments around the league for sure. But he just does it all the time, and he makes it look so easy. And I think that's what is so interesting to me, because it's like where did this come from?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let's talk about the Steelers and the Bills really quick. I know we touched on it a little bit. This is what the Steelers did the first 9 weeks of the season. It's the same thing.
yeah. That's the thing. I saw them beating the Bills, who I think are a top 3 AFC team, and they probably are.
The Bills didn't play well. Okay, let's cut to the chase. They did not play very well at all today. But I don't think it matters right now.
Right. And that's the issue is I saw this game and at first I thought just my instant reaction was, "Oh, Pittsburgh's going to be better than I thought." But then I was like, "Wait. This is what we were saying last year, like you said."
This is what I was saying last year for like till week 9, till like that stupid Wednesday afternoon game that we had, and then I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, they're not good.
Yeah. And for the first like 4 or 5 weeks of the season, not even 4, like 3 or 4 weeks of the season last year, I thought, yeah, okay, I'm all in. I think these guys are real Super Bowl contenders. But then it was around like week 7, 8, 9, kind of in there. I started watching more and more stuff. I just saw Big Ben slowly getting more tired. And I was like, this isn't working out too well. Now, he's in amazing shape. I've seen the picture.
Can I roll my eyes? I don't know how to roll my eyes. I want to.
He has a dad body. He's not an amazing shape. Okay. Sure, he's probably doing better than he was last year. But he's still 40 years old. It's not like it's not like he's some spry chicken out there going to be dominating for all 17 games of the season.
This is last year. This is his last year. Like, he's done after this season.
Yeah, and so, at first I thought, wow, maybe Pittsburgh's going to be better than I thought they would. And then I just remembered last year, and I was like, yeah, never mind. They probably won't be. They're probably gonna look like they are for a couple of months, assuming he stays healthy that long. Which, Big Ben last year was kind of an anomaly. He didn't get hurt, but yeah, assuming he is healthy. But then you got Dwayne Haskins and and Mason Rudolph. I don't know. I just laugh whenever I think of Mason Rudolph.
It's because we had to watch him for half a season.
Yeah. But, anyways. There you go. That's that.
Look, they have a great receiving core. Like today, yeah. Sure, I want to see them. Selfishly, I want to see them run with Najee Harris. I think they'll have games where they do that. They're probably going to have a good mix of run and pass. This should be a passing offense. And they look like that, right? With Big Ben this today. They look like a passing offense with 3 great receivers. They can throw the ball over the yard successfully. That's a Super Bowl contender. But
yeah.
And that defense, forget the pieces that they lost. They're still that good. They might.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably going to finish number 1 again. I can't believe it, but they probably are.
Their front seven.
Yeah, like they're probably at least they're gonna finish 3rd in the league. Nothing less. That defense is stupid. They lost like Bud Dupree and a few others. Doesn't matter. It's a stupid defense. It's so dumb. And can you believe that in the last 2 years, they've had a sack in every game. Every game.
It's not surprising.
Every game.
Honestly.
I think it's the most. Yeah. I think it's the highest active streak, at least on defense, in the NFL. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? I wish I drafted them in fantasy again. Godly. Anyway, I have the Bucs, but still. Look, that defense the defense is so good. If that offense plays like that all year, they should be a contender, but they're not going to be. Like, they're just not. I don't think they're going to do it for 4 months. They're just not going to.
And another important factor to consider with Pittsburgh is look at their division. Right? We were just talking about Cleveland, who looks like a contender. And
We'll see about Baltimore tomorrow.
Baltimore
We'll
very
see.
well could be. We'll see. Yeah. And then there's Cincinnati, who probably going to be a little better this year than they were last year, but I mean, not enough to, you know, cause any concern for Cincinnati or for Pittsburgh. I don't think.
Let's go to Cincinnati really quick. That game made NFL history. That game made NFL history. The first game to finish regulation in a tie and finish the game with the winning score with triple zeros on the clock. First game in NFL history to ever have that happen.
Wait, what do you mean?
So regulation finished in a tie, right? Triple zeros, it was a tie. And the first game to ever finish triple zeros with a game-winning play. Or a game-winning field goal.
Oh, so the game-winning field goal was at the
end.
Happened when the clock hit 0.
Yep.
Huh.
So if he missed that field goal, Shane...
Thank God.
Yeah, so if he missed that field goal, Shane would be talking about a tie. We'd be talking about a tie. So explain this explain this for a relevant audience, our new audience, why you hate ties in football. We're going to get to it. You realize we are going to have a tie this year, and we're going to talk about this. You do realize that.
There's a tie every year, and I hate it every time. No, it's not just that I hate ties in football. I hate ties in every sport. Okay, this is not soccer. Okay, we're out there killing each other, going to war for 60 minutes. Okay, and you're gonna tell me no result. It's like, what? No. Okay, you gotta have a winner and a loser at the end of that thing. Not to mention, the record at the end of it is gonna look terrible because it's gonna be whatever, and one. It's just annoying to look at. And then it's just like, here's the thing. I guess what it comes down to is I feel like if teams tie, it makes me feel like the game was a waste of everybody's time. Because
even if it was a good game,
yes, because we spent all this time doing all this stuff and we accomplished nothing. There's no team is any different than it was when this thing's done. It's just
Wait, pause that really quick. You said that no team is different than when it started. That's exactly how I felt about that game. Legit.
Yeah.
This is the one game that went into overtime that I was like, this is the first game ever that I watched teams go into overtime and I'm like, I learned nothing. Zero. I learned nothing about these teams. I think Minnesota is trash. I think that honestly, the only thing I probably learned is that the Lions might actually be better than Minnesota. Maybe.
Honestly? Yeah. I mean, if we're going based off today, hell, the Lions might be the best team in that division by now.
No.
They are, actually. Whoa, the Lions are winning the NFC North. That is hilarious.
Wait, actually, are they?
Yeah, because the Packers, Bears, and Vikings.
Oh shoot!
Or no, the Lions didn't win either. Never mind. Wow, the NFC North went 0-4 today. That's bad. Even the NFC East didn't do that
bad. We say that the Lions won. It feels like the Lions won today. Because
right.
I'm going to go on the Lions really quick. I need this tangent. Jared Goff looks better. He looks so much better. Oh my God.
Yeah, which is kind of shocking. Because we were sitting here thinking, okay, it's going to go either one of two ways. Either he's going to step up and put on his big boy pants and just go. And with this tough coach, I was like, Jared, Or he's gonna, without having Sean McVay holding his hand, he's gonna kind of like falter and whatever. And if today tells us anything, It's that he rise to the occasion.
With a coaching staff that believes in him. I firmly believe after
Right.
today that Campbell and this coaching staff believes in Goff. They didn't just not draft another quarterback for a reason. They firmly believe that at least for the next 2 years he is their guy. And they're confident in it. And it shows.
And I mean, if he continues playing like that, I could even see them keeping him around for longer, and just building around him. We'll see. Obviously, I mean, it's the common phrase today. It's just one game. We can't go too crazy.
We have to wait. Actually, I don't know. I still think Thanksgiving's a fair benchmark, even in an 18-game season. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is where we're really going to know. Jared Goff's stat line, he threw the ball like 57 times, which is insane. If that doesn't show confidence, I don't know what does. I mean, obviously the score, but still. 38 for 57, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Compared to what Jared Goff usually does, or what he did in LA, I'll take that stat line. I'll take it.
And against a pretty good San Francisco defense. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Defensively, the Lions are still garbage. Like, Goff's going to have to play from behind a lot. Like, defensively, they're terrible. They are legitimately abysmal, especially with Jeff Okuda, I think, being out a couple of weeks or so now.
Yeah.
They're abysmal. They're terrible.
That's really what they're going to have to work on
Yeah.
in the draft and free agency going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my only reaction to Vikings-Bengals is the Vikings are going to be really bad. The Bengals, we'll see what they do. I don't have an opinion. Chargers, Washington. You know what's amazing to me about the Chargers? You talked about this with the Chiefs. The Chargers are that kind of team that with Herbert just has this confidence where he can win in the last few minutes of a game. Like, I think even last year we saw that. That's kind of what I saw today. I was like, the game was really also kind of one of those ones where it's like, it's kind of whatever. But Herbert did his job to finish that game off. And that's what you want to see from him ultimately, especially with this new coaching staff. And he's still doing that. He did that last year too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, because that was my only, I guess, criticism of him last year is just that I felt like he didn't really come through in the end when he needed to all that much.
I thought he did pretty well on that. I'm just saying I think he's improving in that department.
Right, especially towards the end of the year, he was getting better for that. And I think that the new coaching staff helps as well with that. I don't think not Anthony Fisher, Anthony Lynn was right for them. So
yeah, Brandon Staley looks really good. He does. He looks really good.
Yeah. And Washington.
Heineke starting 16 more games? Really?
Is he?
I mean, we don't know how. So Fitzpatrick has a hip subluxation. So that's probably 6 weeks, Shane. I would guess.
Yeah.
Maybe more. They said multiple weeks. We'll get the official report tomorrow morning. Of course, we're recording this Sunday night, so Monday. Like, if it's 6 more weeks, like, maybe bring in Cam Newton. Like, I'm being serious. Like really? This team is
get along though.
No, probably not. But like, dude,
There's got to be some tension there.
yes, but Shane, this is the best team in that division. Are we?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Cowboys. Let's wait on the Cowboys, please. Let's not.
Yeah.
But like, we came into the season saying they should win this division. Like, they should be a playoff team. Are they a playoff team with Heineke though? Like, if he starts 6 weeks, like, really?
I mean, I don't
Let's
know.
just say
You
6
get a
weeks.
rushing component out of him, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think we have to just see because we've never seen him play long term. But um, he kind of reminds me of Taysom Hill in a way. You know. I wonder if they're gonna try and trade for Deshaun.
I don't think they can afford him or they would want him.
I don't.
And I don't think he's on the
I don't
trade
know.
block.
Oh, is he not?
He can't be on
I
the
mean,
trade block.
I read that they are still taking calls for him.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
how that works?
He's not even in the freaking building.
Yeah, but
I don't think they
I
should
don't
get
know.
him though.
I wouldn't go for him just because of the. I mean,
He shouldn't play right now.
Yeah, the off-field stuff is just it's too risky.
Yeah.
Because who knows, who knows what's gonna happen there. But, anywho's.
Another guy that impressed today, my guy, Jalen Hurts. 264 pass yards, 3 touchdowns, 62 rush yards. I mean, come on. Like, I know that you guys were kind of wishy-washy, but if this, like, I'm sorry, like, this is the belief that I see in him. This is what I see in him. I see a franchise quarterback. I do. I just see it.
I'm not gonna go too crazy because it's Atlanta.
Yes.
But at least a good starter for a couple years. Yeah. Maybe a franchise guy, I mean, give me a few weeks, kind of.
I will give you till Thanksgiving. I'll give you until Thanksgiving.
Okay. Thank you. I'll send my invoice then.
Yes.
No. But I can see where you're coming from, though. I can. Never thought I would say that about Jalen Hurts in the NFL. But,
Yeah.
but yeah.
We didn't. You and I both didn't have him highly ranked coming out. No way. We didn't at all.
I had him as I think a 5th round pick.
I had him best 4th, and he went second. He went second round, bro.
I was shocked. I wonder. Not that it matters, but
Yeah.
think back on that draft, and taking him second. I wonder if their plan was to move off of Carson all along and go to Hurts, like at some point in that season.
How Peterson handled it, I don't think so. Because we remember that last week of that season, like, after me over a fantasy title, like, come on, dude. Playing Nate Sudfeld, like, I don't think so, bro.
No, I mean, I don't mean how it ended. I mean, just look at the beginning, and if he was thinking, if he was sitting there thinking, oh, I want this to be my guy, and they got him, and then started him, and he thought, maybe not, and then, I don't know.
Yeah. I do feel like they saw some sort of regression point, but I'm not certain. Plus, the coaching staff isn't even there anymore, and Sirianni wasn't even sure he was going to start him. They could have put in your guy Joe Flacco. Like, that was a real possibility in July.
Joe Flacco. Well, they wouldn't have lost a game if they put him in, because
You wanted to put him in today?
Huh?
For some of you who don't understand, we've had this running Joe Flacco joke because of the elite stuff for all those years.
But yeah, because after that Super Bowl season, when Joe Flacco won,
2012, yeah.
and
I think, right? 2012.
I might add, I think the Ravens got lucky. I don't think they were even close to the best team that season.
Then we need to rewatch some of those games because those games are amazing, by the way. The Broncos game, the Super Bowl, like, both of those games are incredible games. Anyway.
Because they beat the Broncos, the
Patriots. They didn't touch the Patriots.
the Patriots in the AFC Championship, and then the 49ers in the Super Bowl. I thought all 3 of those teams were better than the Ravens. Yet, they still won.
Yeah. I want to rewatch that whole playoff run because those games were spectacular. They were spectacular.
But not to mention, I agree. We should. But not to mention the Ravens being a good but not great team. Joe Flacco was not that great that year. He was fine, but he was
Amazing playoff run got him a contract. Amazing playoff run got him a contract, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he threw. I think he only threw like 20 touchdowns that season, which is nothing. Yet everybody was saying. I remember after that Super Bowl, everyone was like, "Flacco's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL now." Whoa, 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 whoa! Hold on. Like, really? After that, like, no, he's like. I said no. He's like I would rank him like 20th, maybe.
He got paid like a top 5 guy after that season. You remember how much money he got?
Oh yeah, oh, I do. Yeah, but everyone was like, I thought, well, that's okay. That's a bold opinion. And then I heard it again. Somebody was like, oh, 8th of all quarterbacks. I was like, what the? No. This is. It'd be like if we started saying Nick Foles was a top 10 quarterback, 2018 Eagles. We all know that's just baloney. So now it's just a running joke for me. It's like that because people now it's like everybody says, "Oh, Flacco sucks," and now I'm like, "No, he's the greatest quarterback ever." What are you? Because everybody hyped him up like he was the second coming of Jesus or something. Anyways,
we're actually going to have a podcast where we watch a bunch of games coming up on the Relevant app. I'm working on that with one of my fellow interns, so we're going to get that popping here soon. Brandon has joined us. Brandon, how are you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling hyped, man. Like, I know I shouldn't get too hyped because we all know what we saw last year with the Seahawks and they they went in. They kicked butt in Atlanta last year to start the season, and everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna be so dominant." Oh, there I am.
There you are. In the flesh.
Yeah, I don't know. We kicked butt last year, and I was talking to you during the game today, and there was something tangibly different about the way that this team was playing, and I think the biggest thing I would say would be the use of tight ends. They're actually using their tight ends now. Gerald Everett already showing that he was a huge pickup for the team.
And Gabe Jackson.
Oh yeah, Gabe Jackson alone. I mean, he had that huge block on Carson's 33-yard run early in the game. He was able to open that up, and he was able to and when I say that was the huge block, I mean, if you go back and watch that play, I'm pretty certain Carson had this much space to slip through. He was a small little hole for him to go through, and I just think, honestly, I'll be honest, I was surprised. I was surprised with how dominant the Seahawks were in that game.
I'm not trying to say this. I've kind of been feeling this whole offseason. I think I'm going to say it. I had my MVP prediction already.
Russell
Wilson's going to win the MVP in 2021.
I mean, hell, if he plays with this line and keeps playing like this, I mean, I don't see anybody who can touch him.
This was the perfect let Russ cook game. I was watching this game going, okay, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. I mean, the Colts defense is also a pretty good defense. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it a lot.
And the thing is, he nearly had 3. He had 2 bombs to lock it. He nearly had 3. The third one, he was just barely underthrown.
Yeah.
So it's he was 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles. I mean, I think it was a pretty. I was listening to national radio driving home, and you know how I say that national radio never talks about the Seahawks?
They're talking about him now,
Well, they're talking about the Seahawks now
and they should be.
because they're talking about the NFC West now
Yeah.
because every single team went out today and made a statement. Would I say the Seahawks made a little bit louder statement by actually beating a team that's been good on defense? Maybe. I would say the 49ers made a statement until they didn't.
We were just talking about that earlier. Yeah.
I mean, man, like, talk about having a dominant statement-making game and then being like, 16 minutes left. Sure, go ahead.
Throw the phone out. Throw it in. Throw it in.
Yeah.
I think both Western divisions went undefeated today. I don't think any other division did.
I can check, but yeah.
I am intrigued to hear what was your takeaway, Shane, from the Chiefs Browns game. Because I'm shocked.
So
I thought the Browns were just were not even walking, they were steamrolling.
So I asked Shane the question earlier because I remembered your question. I asked him and I was like, "Were the Browns the better team today?" And him and I both said yes. You agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like,
Expand on that. Like what makes them good?
From what I've heard, I only watched the first, like, I don't know, quarter and a bit of it. But from what I saw, like, the Browns, I left and I turned that game off and I was like, Browns have this in the bag, surely. Like, this should be an easy walk to the finish.
You can never be so certain with Kansas City.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, I think what the Browns showed today is, like, yeah, Kansas City has a pretty mediocre defense, but you can't give them anything. Like, that's why they're a Super Bowl threat.
I'll ask you this. I'll finish with this with the Chiefs for you, Brandon. I said this earlier to Shane as well. I have a vision with the Chiefs, and I don't know if this is going to come to fruition, but it might. I envision us doing the Super Bowl show on the Monday after the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, and they lose the Super Bowl. Last year, they lost the Super Bowl because of the O-line. They lose the Super Bowl because of the defense, particularly the linebacking core. Like, that's kind of what I imagine.
I think that's fair. I've heard a lot of people being like, oh, I could see it being like Chiefs Seahawks or like Chiefs like 49ers or someone. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be West versus West. You know?
Yeah. I like the Browns, though, after today. I think they're a contender, too.
I think the Browns...
I think it'll be West versus West or West versus North.
I think the Browns showed... They made me believe in them a lot more, and Baker Mayfield, round of applause. Like, you know me.
Good.
You know me. I've crapped on that man a long time. I've said
as long as you've been on.
Last year I said he doesn't have what it takes to take them to the Super Bowl. Didn't think they did. I don't know what he did between the AFC Championship game and now, but he did not lose that game. And I have never been able to say that he has not lost. He was not the factor that lost them the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was the secondary, I think.
Yeah, like, I think that team, if they can tighten up and play solid, that's a dangerous team. We saw what they did. We saw what they did to the Steelers last year. I mean, if I'm in Cleveland, I'm pretty excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little annoyed because that should have been a win, but it's not a terrible loss, you know.
Nah, it's a loss that says you're a contender. Thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, Brandon?
They're a non-starter.
They're a non-starter.
No, they're a non-starter. Like, I mean, Aaron, I heard his post-game comments today. The man sounded like he wanted to be on a beach sipping a Mai Tai and surfing. Like, I don't know why he came back. Like, he doesn't want it. No one on that team wants it. And I'm being deadly.
They
Like,
benched
usually,
him too.
usually I joke around in these things, and some of my opinions are like, haha, like over. No, I'm serious right now. Like, I think Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to. He's not putting 110% in that game
In this team.
in this team. Because like you look around at the team, it's nothing. It's got nothing. I mean, yeah, they brought Aaron Rodgers back, but it's still like, what's he working with? Nothing.
Well, he's got Devontae and Aaron Jones, but
That's two pieces.
Yeah.
And you look at
Yeah.
you look at the Seahawks. You compare the Seahawks to the Packers, and it's like, okay, Packers, Devontae and Aaron Jones. Seahawks, Lockett, DK, Carson, Gerald Everett, X, Y, and Z. Like,
There's options.
there's options, whereas it just isn't there. And like some people might say, oh, ha ha ha, he lost to New Orleans with Jameis Winston.
Winston was sick.
Yeah, ha ha ha. This is Jameis Winston being coached by one of the better coaches to coach ever in the NFL. Also, a coach who actually knows what he's doing coaching quarterbacks. Unlike, yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was Jameis in Tampa. We talked about it.
Yeah.
What's another major highlight that you would like to discuss? What's like one thing that's kind of been peeking in your mind?
Let's talk about teams that didn't suppress, that were what I thought they were, and showed that today. Jacksonville, just hello and goodbye. And
when
I was
does Urban
impressed.
Meyer quit? What week?
I was impressed by Houston. I'll give them that. They did what they were supposed to do. Good job. Tyrod Taylor looked pretty filthy today. He had a nice little pass where he was like getting just attacked from both sides, and he spun out of another one, came around the outside and threw it downfield for like a big first down. I was like, haven't really seen that from Tyrod Taylor before. I don't know. It was like, there were a lot of teams that just kind of like continued doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were some teams that I kind of just put in my mind of like, okay, let's check back with them in 3 or 4 weeks and see if they've actually taken what they did today and ran with it or made something of it. Like,
who are those teams?
I want to see if the Lions can take the fact that they put up this many points on the 49ers and maybe, win some games. Like, can they maybe be... Because, like, Jared Goff in this offense, somewhat decent.
They're the best looking offense in that division today.
Yeah, honestly. I didn't see any of the Rams Chicago game, but like
you'd miss nothing.
Yeah, that's what
you missed nothing. You missed absolutely nothing. I like that game was. I literally watched the first quarter and was on my phone the rest of the game. Yeah. I'm not afraid to say it. That game was terrible.
That's what I thought it was going to be. I mean, Chicago's Chicago, like.
Yeah, Andy Dalton.
They haven't changed anything other than Matt Stafford, and
they've changed a lot. They've changed. Matt Stafford makes them so good offensively. Defensively, they're rough, but offensively, Stafford's the real deal.
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing. Everybody's talking about the Rams. Everybody's talking about the 49ers. Nobody's talking about the Seahawks. Well, they are now. But the thing with the Seahawks is the Seahawks are the most balanced team in the division.
Is that a fair thing, Shane? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Most balanced team in that division?
Well, here's the thing. The Rams have an offense. They don't have a defense. 49ers have an offense. They don't have a defense. And that team is not deep. I'm sorry. Like, they basically had all their depth taken away from them today with injuries.
Wait, who? The Niners or?
The Niners.
Yeah.
The 49ers lost basically 3 of their best players today on defense, plus Brandon Ayuk. Arizona.
Maybe defense. Maybe. Let's not overreact. But maybe their defense is good.
Yeah.
I think Arizona's just kind of decent on both sides, but not like great,
Let's wait on Arizona. Let's give it a couple of weeks, please.
So I don't know. Yeah.
That's the thing about Seattle is they have less, stars, and like Jalen Ramsey's, Aaron Donald's, right, than the Rams. But I feel like Seattle is a more team because they, in my opinion, the only position group that Seattle is that really concerns me at all is corner. Whereas with the Rams, I don't really like their linebackers, their safeties, tight end. Running backs are 50-50, So, I mean, it's like, yeah, they've got Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, but look at all these other holes they have that I just don't think Seattle does have, So.
I think they probably are the most balanced, but I want to see that defense a little bit more. Like, I think today was like, I want to see this offense and what they can do. They did it today. I think we're good. I think we're going to see that. I really think Russell can win the MVP. I want to see what this defense can do. I haven't made an opinion on what their defense is yet. So I want to see that a little bit more moving forward. Let me finish with that Falcons game as well. With that Eagles-Falcons game. Oh, God. I wrote in the chat, I want to write an article on the Falcons' red zone efficiency. Oh, my God.
It has to be the lowest.
Of the last 5 years, it probably is the lowest, or at least it's bottom 10.
Although I did see
Falcons
Matt, I
are
did see Matt Ryan do something today for once.
Which was?
He ran the ball and tried to dive for a first down, which
Wow.
he didn't get it, but he tried.
Gotta give it to him.
I mean, they're just sad at this point. Like,
They are so... Oh, my God.
they're pathetic. Like,
I think, I mean...
I don't even know.
This might be a hot take. I don't care. I'm saying it anyways. I don't think they should have drafted Kyle Pitts at 4 because while he is an amazing player, that's not what they need. They're already good at passing the ball. They need defense. They need a run game. Something. They don't need more passing help.
Because Kyle Pitts was good. He just only... Kyle Pitts was... excuse me, Shane. I have to add this in. Kyle Pitts...
No, you're fine.
Kyle Pitts was great today, and he only caught the ball 4 times, and he was great. His presence was felt. But it doesn't matter.
Right, because, I mean, they already have... I mean, they lost Julio, which sucks, but they still have Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage. They're capable. They're fine. Just... It's alright, I'm good.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. That first quarter, I'm not kidding. When I said... Am I wrong? In the first quarter, they were in the red zone twice. They were in the red zone twice. And they scored 6 flipping points. 6! They should have scored 20.
I was watching NFL Red Zone.
Yeah, same.
Like, the only time they came up on the screen in the first, 2 hours of it was when Matt Ryan dove for a first down and didn't get it.
The most important time they were on the screen on NFL Red Zone was the first 20 minutes when they missed in the red zone twice. And that was it. And I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? They literally scored those 2 touchdowns, and the game is literally a different game.
Yeah. I mean...
Oh, my God.
It's crazy. I think you could make an argument that the Falcons have had the worst case of all time of Super Bowl hangover.
They're still in the hangover. It's been 5 years.
And it's still going. And it's like, isn't it supposed to end after 2 or 3 at most?
It's supposed to end after 1.
Yeah, the Seahawks had maybe half a season. Maybe you count the 2017 season.
I think so, yeah.
That's the only season we haven't made the playoffs. Actually, no, we made the playoffs that year.
What was it? 14.
3 or 4 years after the Super Bowl, though.
I'm talking 24. No, let's not even use. I'm just being honest. But
Right.
But the problem with their hangover was that they flipping lost, and they flipping lost. What am I? This team is just causes my brain to explode. Seriously, They should be so much better than this. They should have scored. Why do they not score in the red zone? Why? Score! I was literally screaming, score, 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 flipping score. Like, what?
I'm going to tell you this, and y'all are going to hate me for it, but it's Matt Ryan. They need a quarterback that's not old and, like...
You know what? Matt Ryan, I think, had a good day, too.
I mean, yeah, he did, but, like, he's old.
Like, he had a good day, and they were still bad.
I mean, I know what you mean, Brennan, but I think they have so many other problems that are way worse than him. That it's
but,
I think
he's
right
their
now,
captain. Like, he's the leader of their ship, and, like, I don't think it's going to get any better until he's gone.
well, I think that, I mean, there are. I mean, yes, but there's so many other problems that they have to fix.
First score in the red zone.
I don't think it matters who the quarterback is. They have so many other problems.
Yeah. I think Shane is right. To score in the goddamn red zone, that's all I flipping need. If they score 2 touchdowns in this game, it's a different game. It just is.
Yeah.
It's still a blowout, but...
No, I don't even think it's a blowout. I think the game is actually close.
Well, actually, yeah, no, it would have been 36 to...
I mean, it finished 32-6, but I'm saying like it would have been 21-14 or something, 23-14 at one point in this game if they scored both times. And it would have changed it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Let me also rant about a fellow quarterback. Daniel Jones, what are you doing? What is this man doing? Honestly, what is he doing? Like, look, Teddy Bridgewater played a pretty solid game. Like, I'm not worried about Teddy. Teddy, if he plays like he did today, they're going to be fine. Oh my...
Fine bridge guy.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great bridge guy. He's solid. I'm fine that he's starting. But,
Yeah.
honestly, it just feels... I watched Daniel Jones today, and I'm like, it feels like you are literally trying to prove you can be an NFL quarterback still.
Well,
you're in your 4th year, dude!
You know, Daniel Jones, he's playing like a quarterback who knows that he has the job for the whole year and possibly the future because they don't have a backup that they're willing to put in. Their backup is Mike Glennon.
Yeah, like they're going to start him the whole year.
They're not going to play Mike Glennon.
They're not going to play Cam Newton either.
Well, who do you think is going to go get Cam Newton?
I don't know right now.
Like,
I don't know if anybody is, to be honest.
You know,
at this point,
you talked about something that just came to my mind is you talked about Robert, someone who made interest me today. I talked about him possibly being a game changer and maybe showing what he's got going on, but another guy who might be coming off my list of me being a hater on them is Sam Darnold.
I didn't. Did you take anything away from that game? Because I didn't. Other than Zach Wilson's going to struggle.
I took away the fact that if you give Sam Darnold actual pieces, he can actually be a half decent quarterback. Like,
see, the jury's still out on that because it was the Jets.
at the end of the
that's how I feel.
End of the day, yeah, it's the Jets, and they only scored 19 points.
Yeah.
But here's my point. Here's my point, though. Did he look better than any time you saw him play when he was on the Jets?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
See, that's my point.
Yeah.
It's like, at the end of the day, he won the game. Yes, he was playing the Jets, but he won the game. I don't believe he threw an interception.
He had a pretty good day statistically. He had a good day statistically.
He had some nice passes.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about it. That's why I'm not taking too much stock in it right now.
I'm not trying to be like, oh, hype, but like, just saying.
I could be next week.
He used
or
to
2
be
weeks
on
from
my
now.
to be on my list of like quarterbacks I thought didn't have any use in the NFL. I've now taken him off that list. and he's now on the list.
Who's the not playlist? Who's like the not starter list?
Mike Glennon, Tim Tebow.
Mike Glennon looks exactly like my cousin. It's the weirdest thing.
What? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, I actually thought it was him on TV one time. I was like, wait.
So let me finish up with the Giants. Daniel Jones, like he literally tried to throw in the tightest window possible. It was so annoying. The whole game, he's just like, let me throw in this tight window to Golladay and he might catch it. And he did. A pretty fair amount of times. He did. And I was like, oh, that's an NFL throw. And then he does it again, and I'm just like, why? Like, what's not computing here?
It worked the first time, so I guess I'll try it again.
Legit! I'm just like, okay, what's not computing here? This game, I honestly feel like Daniel Jones needs to go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. Hike the football. Who's open? Throw it to him. Don't throw it to a guy that has this much of a flipping window. Every single flipping time you snap the ball. There's no reason for this. Make the read and you'll have the job for the next 5 years. How hard is this? How hard? I just don't understand it.
I mean, that was me last year trying, yelling at Russell to throw the ball faster. And it's like, this year, already, it seems like our coach has gotten it through to his thick skull. Like, hey, if you get the ball out faster, you're not going to get hit.
It's not just that. It's like you have an open, it's different because Russell's actually a Hall of Fame quarterback. Daniel Jones,
Exactly.
Daniel Jones is a guy that doesn't. He's a guy that doesn't understand the basics of the game, and he showed it today, and it was exhausting to watch because I was like, one time he's good, and then one time he's not.
Can we talk about and have a moment of silence for my boy Fitzmagic? He went down the first quarter.
You're not going to get to enjoy him for another 6 weeks, probably with a hip subluxation. Hip subluxation, so probably 6 weeks.
He's getting old. I don't know if we'll see him again. He might just decide to walk off into the sunset.
Honestly, yeah.
He goes into our Hall of Fame. He's the first quarterback that goes in the Hat Trick Sports Talk Hall of Fame just from.
He's just been the GOAT.
Why?
He's the GOAT.
It's him and Joe Flacco. That's gonna be first ballot in our Hall of Fame.
But
If Joe Flacco's in our Hall of Fame, I'm quitting.
I don't think anything has fit so perfectly of an image for the Washington football team than the footage of the sewage.
Oh, the
From the
sewage!
ceiling
You didn't see that shit? I put that in the chat.
earlier in the game.
Was that what that was?
Yeah, that was sewage, dude.
Sewage. I'm not even kidding you. When Robert sent that to me and I opened it, I thought it was like a rain pipe or something, and I saw the caption saying it's sewage, and I'm like, oh my god,
Wait, I need to look
that's
at this
disgusting.
Wait, so we use this word microcosm to talk about the Packers. Why is that a microcosm of the Washington football team?
Because it's just like, it shows you what type of organization they are. If you don't, it's all about. It's all about how you. I think Pete Carroll once said this. It's about how you do all the things.
He's watching it, Shane. Are you watching it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The way you do the small things is the way you do all things. So, if you want to run a football team, you make sure you don't have sewage coming out of your ceiling.
You can just see
you
how
can
bad
smell
that
it.
smells.
You can smell it. I could smell it. It's a video and I could smell it. I was like, gross. And You sent this to me like maybe an hour into football today.
It was at like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, like it tells you everything you need to know.
It tells you everything you need to know about Dan Snyder.
Yeah, they don't take care of their arena. They don't take care of their
It
team.
was at 11:30.
It's just it's gross.
That's why I didn't see it. I was in church.
I don't think that was a good video to watch in church, to be honest, Shane.
No.
Shane, your thoughts on the sewage pipe debacle?
Well, that's just such an embarrassment, honestly. Like, ugh. That's gonna be some. That's gonna be some lawsuits coming their way.
What a mess. Although I will say, a great video today from Sportsnet. There was a baby. I think I sent this to you guys. There was a baby that broke a very, very small table for Bills Mafia today. The guy just took the baby up and put it down and broke a really tiny table. I think I sent it. I'm sure I did. If I didn't, I'll send it right now. I'll send it right now if I didn't.
Is the baby okay?
Yeah, it was a very, very tiny table.
Oh, okay.
It was really cute. That was a great video today. I thought I sent it in.
It's something else.
It was a great.
Speaking of surprises, can we talk about the fact that I did not think that the Steelers were to beat the Bills?
Do you feel the Steelers are they what they thought they were through 9 weeks team today? That's how I felt. Because that was exactly like the first 9 weeks of their season.
Let me rephrase that in a less confusing way. Do you think
Please.
they're on the same track they were last season, when
No.
they started out really hot and then got really bad or not really bad, but tapered off in the second half of the season?
No, I don't think so. I think they were just kind of hot today, and I think the Bills just kind of played not really up to standard. And I think Roethlisberger continued to look old and looked like he was tripping over his feet.
Go in the chat and just watch this video really quick. I do want some live reaction on this. So this is the baby smacking down onto a table. It's like one of the cutest
You
things
did
ever.
send it. I
That's
just didn't see it.
That's adorable.
Yeah. Bills Mafia, I'm sorry, they're the best fans in the NFL.
That's
They
the
just
world's-
are.
That's the world's smallest table.
For some reason, I thought it was gonna be as slamming the
full-
baby's
yeah.
feet on the table. Like,
That's what I
and then
thought.
you just like, yeah,
I thought it was gonna be like a
that's
full
nice.
size table, and I was like,
Me
wow.
too. When I saw it, I was like, oh wow.
You know, I was kind of sitting there. I was like,
Considering it's the Bills Mafia, like
Best fans in the NFL. Shout out one of my favorite.
I don't know. 12 men are pretty great.
Yeah. Shout out to one of my favorite YouTubers, Melanie Martin, who's a Bills fan. I'd love to meet her one day. I just love Bills fans so much. They're amazing. Let's finish off talking about the game on Thursday night. Before we head out. The Cowboys are interesting when they're good and interesting when they're bad. They're good. They were good on Thursday. Do you guys still think they are like they're not a contender, right? Like we're not taking any stock. And are we taking anything? What are we taking away from the Cowboys side of this? That their offense is really good. That's probably it.
here's the thing. You say they're interesting when they're good or when they're bad, but when they're just kind of meh, they're boring. They suck. That's what they were on Thursday. Yes, they almost won because the offense looked really good, but the defense was terrible. So as a result, they're just kind of I think, at least right now. But Brennan,
I kind of feel like it was a situation of the Buccaneers being like leaving the door open for them. I don't know.
I just get really so for the past however long Brady's played, every close Brady game goes the same way. Every close Brady game is Brady has the ball with a minute left or minute and a half, 2 minutes. He throws one horrible ball every time. Every flipping time. He throws one horrible ball and the defender doesn't pick it off. When it's in his flipping hands. It happens every game. It happens every flipping game.
You can see the defender knowing that was his one chance.
That's every flipping game, dude. Every game. Everyone. Every single one. It's the same crap.
this is how you know that Brady's gonna win. It's when he sits on the sidelines and all right, hold on. It's when he sits on the sideline and does this.
Yeah. It's like he's going Super Saiyan.
Every time he does that, he wins. Like legit, they'll show him on TV, and it's like, yeah, maybe the Cowboys are gonna pull this out, and then it shows him on the sideline as a field goal. Oh God.
Also, are the Bucks what we thought they were in the regular season last year? Remember how we talked about all those primetime games that were close? Is that the same here? Or no? Why not, Brandon?
They were certainly more offensively sound than those games, but defensively they didn't look that great. Dallas is a really good offense, though, so I guess it's hard to tell. But
I don't know. It feels the same way as last season.
That's what I mean. It feels the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it feels.
That's why
Except I feel like they might lose more games than they lost last year. Like, I don't
So
know.
you agree, but you feel like they'll lose more in those moments.
I've already said how I feel about them as a team. Like, I feel like they're not. I don't know.
that's what's weird about Tampa is because this happened last year, and I feel like this is gonna happen this year too. In the regular season, they look fine, good, but not great, nothing special. But then they get to the playoffs, and then who knows? You know what I mean? 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, they went into it last year as a fifth seed. They were like 11-5, and I was kind of like, they might win it. And then they won the Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year if they end up being like a top seed. Maybe New Orleans wins the division again. I don't know. I mean, today was any indication. Maybe one of the teams from the NFC West beats them down the stretch in the playoffs. We'll see.
Yeah. Kind of a we'll see thing.
Gonna be an interesting season, I think.
Predictions for Ravens Raiders?
I think I'm gonna go. Honestly, I don't think Vegas is gonna be able to do much offensively. Just because that offensive line is really, really bad. And Baltimore's greatest defensive strength is their defensive line. So that's not going to be a fun day, especially when you got a quarterback like Derek Carr, who's not too mobile. And, Vegas doesn't have... They don't have the best defense. I mean, their secondary got a little better. They got KJ Wright, which is nice, but I mean, the front seven, I feel like Lamar Jackson is going to be able to run all over them. Mark Andrews, I think they'll have a nice connection. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say like 24/7, 24 to 7 probably.
Yeah, I'll go 24-10. Brandon.
Uh, I'm gonna go 24-12.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Also, really quick, yesterday was the 20th anniversary of 9/11. The tributes around the sports world yesterday and today, opening the NFL season, in that way was phenomenal. The Yankees-Mets game yesterday was honestly maybe one of the more consequential regular season baseball games in a while, just due to its history, or just due to the importance of baseball during that time and the significance of playing on that day. And that was
In that city.
in that city, reverberated around the entire arena at Citi Field, or I should say around Citi Field. Any thoughts on what it means to do a show on the day after, or 20 years later now? And to think that it's actually been 20 years?
You know, I'm in kind of a weird place because I was alive during 9/11, but I don't remember it.
We were
I
like
was
one. Yeah.
I was 1 in 4 months, I think, like 1 or 3 months, whatever. But I've still grown up in the kind of post 9/11 era where we've had, war in the Middle East and too much war, probably. um, and, just this kind of idea of, I guess, not really having peace or struggling to achieve it internationally. And also and I guess I just, I grew up with that, but never realized it as it was happening. And then it's like, now as I've gotten older, I kind of realize the lasting impacts all that has had on so much about this world. Um, Not even just in terms of our country and our security, our military, world peace in general, but also, stuff like, um, Arab Americans, and, Middle Easterns that have come here being profiled and, um, people saying, or, I mean, not even Middle Eastern people. I mean, I know people from India who, uh, I know a guy who has, like a long beard, and he's Indian, and, um, people have, like, made jokes about him being a terrorist and whatever, and, um, stuff like that too. It's sad, that is a part of our society, and especially at a time now where we have so much tension. It was nice to see so many people from this country that is so divided, so many people, coming together and just saying, hey, um, let's not forget that this happened, and let's remember that, we're still a strong nation despite our many flaws. And um, there's always it feels like there's still this kind of glimmer of hope for me, um, that things can get better because we have, so many people that are united and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
very kind of went off on a tangent there, but I
No,
think
please, it's important.
that's just everything that's kind of been on my mind the last couple days here.
Hmm. Brandon, what about you? What's the significance of doing this show the day after the 20th anniversary?
In I was look, I'm significantly older than you two. I was 5, I think. 6. Yeah, 6. When
I forgot about that. Yeah.
uh, I have I've realized in years past that one of my first visual memories is seeing the planes hit.
Hit the towers. Yeah.
And it's a very strange memory because I can
Yeah.
visualize seeing it, seeing the explosion, seeing what happened, but I have no emotion attached to it. Like it's an emotionless memory
Because you were so young at that time.
because I was 6. And so because of that, I had no emotion attached to it for years. I would watch them replay the news from that day for years, and it's like I had nothing. And then it was only really this year where I was listening to stories of people, and it wasn't so much the 9/11. It was talking about how 9/11 is disappearing from our cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah, like our minds and how we think as
We
a
are
country.
20 years on. It is an event that is. It used to be every 9/11. It used to be rolled out, paraded around on TV, being like, this is why we need to come together as a country. And then kind of put back in the closet. That doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I turned on the TV yesterday and it was like football, 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 college football, sports, all this stuff. There was in the newspaper you could read about it, but it was very small. And so I agreed with NPR when they, in the lead up to it, were talking about how it's vanishing. I mean, hell, it vanished the moment it happened, really. I mean, Hollywood, which usually takes big events like that and makes huge movies and stuff about it, they didn't touch it for years.
Yeah.
TV immediately removed images of the towers from credits. Spider-Man removed it from the end of Spider-Man 1. I mean,
That's right. Yeah.
it's terrible CGI, and you can tell that there was supposed to be something behind him. You can, and here's the bizarre thing: if you look in his goggles, you can see the reflection of the towers. So I don't know. I still to this I sometimes tell people I don't have any emotion attached to it. I don't have any emotion about the day. I have emotion about the people who lost their relationships, who lost their connections, lost their
Family,
lives,
friends, and like
family,
people.
friends for a pointless reason.
Yeah.
And I don't
Active hatred.
feel bad saying this either. What I do have emotion for is the fact that we took an event that could have been handled so much more logical and spun it out into a 20-year war
Yeah.
that didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is what, on 9/11, people should really be thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, where we're at in the Middle East is rough for sure. You know, every I'm not kidding. Every 9/11 since I believe the 10th anniversary, I remember. Well, maybe it wasn't 10th anniversary. Actually, it probably was. Obama was still president. And I remember that NFL Sunday where they I think, where was he at? I don't remember where he was at. He was at some memorial somewhere. In probably like Virginia. I don't remember exactly. And they showed that memorial before every NFL game that week. And that's where it stuck with me. Like, because when it's the first week of the NFL season, I always remember that it's also 9/11. Like I believe on that 10th anniversary, that Sunday was 9/11. And there's so many sports stories about 9/11. There was a guy who went to a Giants game in Denver, who worked in the towers, and going to that game literally saved his life, which is just insane to me. I wonder what he was thinking on this day to watch football and think about that. For me, I've always thought of first week of the NFL season and 9/11 in one and the same. And the 3 years we've done this show, I don't think I've ever said this, but 3 years we've done this show, the first week, this show is dedicated to all those people that lost their lives on 9/11. Because I always think about that. And I do think about that war too, especially now, where we're at with that. And, yeah, it's tough. It hurts. And I still can't believe it's been 20 years. That's what's weird to me. Like, we're going to grow up and we're going to see probably the 50th anniversary of this. Like, that to me is wild. For something that, as you guys pointed out, should have never happened. So,
Yeah.
that's kind of my thought. Especially this year, our first show of the season is always dedicated to the people that lost their lives in 9/11, but this one especially for sure.
And all the, the the people that, family members, friends, whoever of all those people, and that are still healing, probably, some of them.
All of them.
And, and like Brandon said, for all the people that, have been victims of war crimes and just, casualties in war in general, for everything that happened after that, and, all of it.
Yeah. On that note, I did want to end the show that way. I felt like it was important. So on that note, we will see you all next Sunday for another great slate of action. And we do appreciate every single one of you every week for listening to this show, as we're about to go on a rampage of about 24 weeks of shows for you all.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great. But we will see you all next Sunday. Catch me on Relevant. I'm going to be having shows all week. Shane and I are working on articles and stuff. So catch us on there. And we'll see you back next Sunday. Have a great weekend, or have a great week, everybody. Have a great night, since it's night now. We'll see you all next week.
See ya.